Something is wrong inside Venezuela. Deep in its jungles, inside its darkest caves, beneath the surface of its rivers, creatures have been caught on camera that science cannot fully explain. A photograph taken in 1920 that still divides scientists. A centipede filmed catching bats in midair. A spider so large you can hear it walking. A full-sized shark pulled from a freshwater lake over 100 miles from the nearest ocean. And a snake so massive that when researchers finally analyzed its DNA in 2024, they realized it was a completely new species that had been hiding in plain sight for 10 million years. Every creature on this list is real. Every single one was caught on camera, and some of them are so far beyond what most people believe nature is capable of producing that the footage still gets reported as fake years after scientists verified it. Join us, and let's discover what has been living inside Venezuela's most extreme territories long before any camera turned on. Let's go! Number 12. Great potoo bird caught on camera at night in Venezuela. Researchers in the Venezuelan rainforest set up a trail camera on a dead tree stump and left it running through the night. When they reviewed the footage the next morning, something had triggered the motion sensor just after 2 a.m. that none of them were prepared for. Two enormous reflective eyes opened directly on top of the stump. No head turn, no movement, just two massive yellow eyes appearing from what, seconds earlier, had looked like part of the dead wood itself. The creature had been sitting there for hours, completely motionless, perfectly fused with the surface beneath it. The great potoo, Nyctibius grandis, is one of the most unsettling nocturnal birds in the Americas. During the day, it perches upright on broken branches or stumps, closes its eyes to near-invisible slits, tilts its head skyward, and becomes the wood. Its feathers are mottled gray and brown, textured to match bark so precisely that trained biologists have walked within arm's reach of one without detecting it. But what makes the great potoo genuinely feared across rural Venezuela has nothing to do with camouflage. Its call is a slow, descending, guttural moan that echoes through the jungle canopy after dark and sounds, to virtually every human hearing it for the first time, exactly like a person sobbing deep in the forest. The cry repeats at random intervals, each one slightly different, each one sounding more distressed than the last. Rural communities across Venezuela have connected this sound to death omens and wandering spirits for generations. The bird is completely harmless, but stand alone in the Venezuelan jungle at 3 a.m. and hear that sound drifting toward you from a direction you cannot identify, and harmless is the absolute last word your brain reaches for. Number 11. Duende creature caught on camera in Venezuela. The videos started surfacing from rural Venezuela and spreading across Latin American social media before anyone could verify a single detail. Night footage from farmland, phone recordings in low light, security camera clips from the edges of small properties deep in the countryside, and in every one of them, the same type of figure. Small, moving fast, humanoid in shape, but wrong in every proportion that matters. In the clearest clips, the figure stands between 2 and 3 feet tall. The head is oversized relative to the body. The limbs move with sharp, jerking motions that do not match the gait of any known animal. In some footage, the creature appears to freeze when light hits it, then bolt with a speed that makes the size of the figure difficult to process. Comments beneath these videos are almost universally identical: duende. In Venezuelan and broader Latin American folklore, the duende is not a children's story. It is a small entity said to inhabit forests, farmland, and the spaces just outside human settlements. Witnesses across generations describe the same features independently: large ears, pale or grayish skin, wide eyes that catch and reflect light, an ability to appear and vanish in ways that do not follow the physical rules of the terrain. Farmers in rural Venezuela who report encounters consistently describe the same pattern: livestock behaving erratically at night, crops disturbed with no visible cause, strange sounds near tree lines after midnight, then eventually a sighting that ends the speculation. Skeptics attribute the footage to animals, camera artifacts, or deliberate hoaxes. Believers say the footage simply captured what rural communities have been reporting for centuries. The videos exist, they are searchable, they keep appearing from different locations across Venezuela, and no explanation has ever fully satisfied both sides. Only 1% of people know the dark truth behind what we are about to show you next. If you want to be part of the few who actually know what's happening in the world, subscribe and leave a like right now. Done? Look at this. Number 10. Pipa toad giving birth through its back in Venezuela. This creature is not dangerous, it is not venomous, it will not attack anything larger than a small invertebrate. But what it does to reproduce has caused footage to be removed from platforms for triggering automatic content warnings. The Suriname toad, Pipa, lives in Venezuela's flooded forests, lowland swamps, and slow-moving rivers. It is flat, broad, and looks like a dead leaf that grew eyes. Its body is so compressed it appears to have been crushed. It has no tongue, no teeth, small, lidless eyes positioned on top of a head that barely rises above the plane of its body. None of that is what made it famous. During mating, the male presses fertilized eggs directly into the skin of the female's back. The skin then swells around each egg, sealing it inside a pocket of living tissue. Over the following weeks, the embryos develop entirely within the mother's back, not in a pouch, not in a nest, inside her flesh. When the young are ready, they emerge. Dozens of fully formed toadlets push through the surface of the mother's back simultaneously, breaking through the skin in a writhing, synchronized eruption that the human brain processes not as reproduction, but as something parasitic hatching from a living host. The footage has been filmed in Venezuela and across the Amazon basin. It is real, it is verified, and it remains one of the most viewed and most viscerally disturbing wildlife clips on the internet. Biologically, the strategy is ingenious. The mother provides maximum protection by carrying her offspring inside her own body. Evolutionarily, it is a masterpiece. Visually, it is the single most unsettling thing you will see a toad do on camera, and once you have seen it, you will never forget it.
Number 9. Payara vampire fish caught in Orinoco River, Venezuela. Fishermen in the Orinoco River have a name for this fish that needs no translation. They call it the vampire fish. One photograph of its mouth explains everything. Hydrolycus scomboroides, the payara, is a predatory freshwater fish that patrols Venezuela's river systems, particularly the Orinoco and its tributaries. It reaches over 3 feet in length. It weighs up to 35 pounds, and it carries 2 lower fangs so large they require specialized holes in the upper jaw just to allow the mouth to close. Those fangs can exceed 6 inches. No other freshwater fish in South America matches this fang-to-body ratio. The payara is built for a single function. It locates prey, accelerates from near standstill to full attack speed in a fraction of a second, and impales the target through the body. The fangs do not tear, they puncture cleanly and completely, pinning the prey in place before the secondary bite begins. Sport fishermen travel from around the world specifically to Venezuela's Orinoco system for the chance to hook one. The fights are explosive. The payara launches itself fully out of the water, fangs visible, reflecting sunlight, looking more like a creature from a horror franchise than anything that should exist in fresh water. Photos of caught payara go viral constantly because people simply do not believe a fish like this is real until they see it from multiple confirmed angles. It does not attack humans, but knowing that something with 6-inch impaling fangs designed for killing is actively hunting below the waterline while you are standing waist-deep in the Orinoco creates a type of awareness that no amount of reassurance fully removes.
Number 8. Bushmaster snake caught on camera in Venezuela jungle. Every experienced hiker in Venezuela's cloud forests follows one rule without exception. Watch the ground. Every step, every second. Because somewhere on that trail, coiled in leaf litter that matches its body almost perfectly, is the largest venomous snake in the entire Western Hemisphere, Lachesis muta, the South American bushmaster. Adults routinely exceed 8 feet. Verified specimens have reached close to 12. That makes the bushmaster not only the longest pit viper in the Americas, but one of the longest venomous snakes anywhere on Earth, surpassed only by the king cobra. Its body is thick, heavily muscled, and patterned with dark diamond-shaped blotches over tan and pinkish-brown scales that blend so completely with the forest floor that trained herpetologists have stepped within inches of resting bushmasters without detecting them. Only the snake decided whether that encounter ended quietly. Unlike most vipers, the bushmaster actively hunts at night. It positions itself along animal trails and waits, sometimes for days, coiled and perfectly still until something warm-blooded passes within range. Heat-sensing pits between its eyes and nostrils detect infrared radiation with surgical precision, allowing the snake to strike accurately in complete darkness. The venom is hemotoxic. A single bite delivers enough to cause rapid tissue destruction, internal hemorrhaging, organ failure, and death if left untreated. Among all snake species in the Americas, the bushmaster carries one of the highest untreated fatality rates. Photographs and footage from Venezuelan jungles almost always come from researchers using full protective equipment and maintaining maximum distance. Every confirmed sighting in the wild is treated as a significant event. Most people will never see one. The ones who do almost always discover it at a distance measured in inches, not feet.
Number 7. Vampire bat colony filmed inside cave in Venezuela. The camera entered the cave first, mounted on a pole, pushed ahead of the person holding it. The lens auto-adjusted to the darkness, and the ceiling moved. Hundreds of small, dark bodies packed against the rock above, clustered, shifting, each one hanging inverted, each one producing faint clicking sounds that merged into a continuous low-frequency hum filling the entire chamber. Desmodus rotundus, the common vampire bat, found throughout Venezuela and one of only 3 bat species on the planet that feeds exclusively on blood. Not fruit, not insects, blood. The vampire bat does not dive at its host. It lands nearby and approaches on foot. It walks on its folded wings with a crawling gait that is disturbingly agile and nearly silent. Infrared sensors on its nose detect exactly where blood flows closest to the skin's surface. It selects a spot, makes a small incision with teeth so sharp the host rarely wakes, and begins feeding. Its saliva contains a powerful anticoagulant, so effective it has been studied for use in human stroke treatment. The blood flows freely while the bat laps it up for up to 30 minutes. In Venezuelan caves, colonies can number in the thousands. Footage from inside these roosts shows the bats reacting to light with coordinated wing movements that make the entire ceiling appear to ripple like a living membrane. The sound shifts from soft clicking to a high-pitched collective screech when disturbed. They are medically and ecologically important. They are one of the most studied mammals in Latin America, and watching a cave ceiling come alive with thousands of blood-feeding animals repositioning themselves directly above your head is an experience that no amount of scientific understanding makes comfortable.
Number 6. Giant electric eel discovered in Venezuela rivers. For over 250 years, science believed there was exactly one species of electric eel on the planet. One, described by Linnaeus in 1766, never questioned. Then, in 2019, a research team led by C. David de Santana published a study that shattered that entire assumption. What the world had been calling one species was actually 3. 3 separate species, each with different genetic profiles, different ranges, and critically different maximum electrical outputs. The most extreme was Electrophorus voltae. Found in river systems connected to Venezuela's southern territory, E. voltae was recorded producing electrical discharges of up to 860 volts, the strongest bioelectric output ever measured from any living organism on Earth. A standard American household outlet delivers 120 volts. This eel generates more than 7 times that. The electric eel is not actually an eel. It is a knife fish, order Gymnotiformes, more closely related to catfish than to any true eel. It breathes air, surfacing every few minutes to gulp oxygen through its mouth. 80% of its body is dedicated entirely to electrical organs. Specimens exceed 8 feet in length. They have been filmed stunning prey, repelling predators, and delivering defensive discharges to researchers standing in shallow water who discovered firsthand that rubber boots are not optional equipment. What disturbed the scientific community most was not the voltage. It was the fact that 3 species had been hiding inside what everyone assumed was one for over 2.5 centuries, in one of the most well-documented genera in all of ichthyology. If something this well-documented was actually multiple species disguised as one, what else has science been looking directly at and getting wrong?
Number 5. Bull shark caught in Lake Maracaibo, Venezuela. The fishermen knew first, the scientists confirmed it later. There are sharks in the lake. Lake Maracaibo in northwestern Venezuela is one of the largest bodies of water in South America. It connects to the Caribbean Sea through a narrow strait, creating a brackish zone where salt water mixes with fresh. And through that opening, one of the most aggressive predators in the ocean has been entering, surviving, and hunting inside the lake for as long as anyone along its shores can remember. Carcharianus lucus, the bull shark. Bull sharks are the only large shark species capable of thriving in fresh water. Their kidneys regulate internal salt concentration with a precision no other shark possesses, allowing them to penetrate rivers, estuaries, and lakes that every other marine predator is biologically locked out of. In Lake Maracaibo, bull sharks have been caught, photographed, and documented at lengths exceeding 8 feet. Fishermen report encounters spanning decades. Some have lost entire catches to animals they watched circling beneath the surface before the line snapped. Globally, bull sharks are responsible for more recorded attacks on humans than almost any other shark species. They prefer shallow, warm, murky water, exactly the conditions where people wade, swim, and fish. They are territorial, aggressive, and require virtually no provocation to strike. The concept alone is what makes this entry so disturbing. A shark in the ocean is expected. A full-sized bull shark in a freshwater lake, in a place people associate with safety, violates a basic assumption that most humans carry without ever thinking to question it. The fishermen of Lake Maracaibo never carried that assumption. They never had the luxury.
Number 4. Scolopendra gigantea, giant centipede catching bats in Venezuela cave. The first time most people see footage of a Scolopendra gigantea hunting, they assume the video is manipulated, that the scale has been distorted, that no centipede could possibly be that large. It is that large. The Amazonian giant centipede, Scolopendra gigantea, is the largest centipede species on Earth. Native to Venezuela, Trinidad, and parts of Colombia, verified specimens exceed 12 inches in length, with some field reports describing individuals over 14 inches. It is fast, it is aggressive, and it is venomous. Over 40 legs move in a synchronized wave that propels the centipede across surfaces at speeds that consistently catch prey and humans completely off guard. The first pair of legs has evolved into forcipules, large venomous claws that inject a cocktail of toxins causing intense pain, swelling, fever, and in rare cases, systemic reactions requiring medical treatment. But the behavior that made this species world famous was captured on camera inside a Venezuelan cave. Researchers filmed S. gigantea climbing the cave walls, reaching the ceiling, and anchoring itself by its rear legs. From this inverted position, hanging in total darkness, the centipede snatched bats out of the air as they flew past. A centipede catching flying mammals mid-flight, using speed and tactile sense alone, in pitch blackness. The footage was published in peer-reviewed scientific literature and subsequently went viral across every platform. It remains one of the most viewed invertebrate predation clips ever recorded. A venomous predator with over 40 legs, capable of reaching a foot in length, that hangs upside down from cave ceilings and catches bats out of the air. This is not a scene from a horror film. This is a Tuesday night inside a Venezuelan cave.
Number 3. Loys ape, mysterious photo taken in Venezuela jungle, 1920. In 1920, Swiss geologist Francois Loys led an expedition into the dense jungle near the Tara River along the Venezuela-Colombia border. The conditions were brutal. Disease, hostile terrain, and dwindling supplies had already devastated the team. What happened next added something to the expedition record that has never been resolved in over a century. According to Loys, 2 large creatures emerged from the jungle and approached the camp aggressively. They walked upright, they were screaming, and they were hurling their own feces at the expedition members. One was shot and killed. The body was propped upright on a wooden crate, and a single photograph was taken. That photograph still exists. It has never been edited, and it has divided the scientific community for over a century. What appears in the image is a primate sitting upright, approximately 5 feet tall, with long limbs, a clearly visible face, and no tail. The posture, the proportions, and the complete absence of a tail were immediately flagged as inconsistent with any known primate species ever documented in South America. French anthropologist Georges Montandon examined the photograph and formally named the creature a Meranthropoides loysi, classifying it as a previously unknown species of large New World ape, a discovery that, if confirmed, would have rewritten the entire primate record for the Western Hemisphere. The backlash was immediate and fierce. Skeptics, including leading primatologists, argued the creature was simply a spider monkey, likely Ateles bellabuth, positioned on the crate at an angle that exaggerated its height, with its tail either tucked behind it or deliberately removed. They pointed to the lack of any scale reference in the image and the convenient disappearance of the body. Loys claimed all other evidence was lost when boats capsized during the return journey. No body, no bones, no second photograph, just one image, one account, and a century of arguments that have never reached consensus. Search the photograph yourself. It is publicly available, it is real, and after 100 years, no one can say with absolute certainty what is sitting on that crate in the Venezuelan jungle.
Number 2.
Goliath bird-eater tarantula caught on camera in Venezuela. The researcher heard it before the headlamp found it, a dry clicking sound on the forest floor. Not the rustle of a falling leaf or the movement of a lizard. Something heavier, something with more points of contact against the ground than any small animal should have. Then the light hit it. Theraposa blondi, the Goliath bird-eater, the largest spider on Earth by mass and one of Venezuela's most iconic and most feared residents. Leg span up to 12 inches, enough to cover a standard dinner plate with room to spare. Body length nearly 5 inches. Weight exceeding 6 ounces, heavier than many species of small birds. When it crosses the forest floor at night, it generates an audible clicking and scraping that experienced researchers can identify in total darkness before visual confirmation arrives. The name bird-eater is not decorative. This spider has been documented killing and consuming small birds, though its regular diet consists of earthworms, large insects, frogs, and mice. Footage exists of Goliath bird-eaters dragging vertebrate prey into burrows with a grip strength that makes the size difference between predator and prey completely irrelevant. When threatened, the spider rears up on its hind legs, exposing fangs exceeding an inch in length, large enough to pierce human skin and deliver venom comparable in pain to a severe wasp sting. But the Goliath carries a second defense that researchers consider worse. Using its hind legs, it launches a cloud of barbed articulating hairs from its abdomen directly into the face and eyes of anything it perceives as a threat. These microscopic barbed structures embed in skin and mucous membranes, causing intense irritation, swelling, and temporary vision impairment. A spider the size of a dinner plate, loud enough to hear walking, strong enough to kill vertebrates, capable of partially blinding you from a distance. This is a real animal. It lives in Venezuela, and it has been caught on camera more times than most people would ever want to know. Number 1. Venezuelan poodle moth discovered in Grand Savanna. In 2009, Dr. Arthur Anker, a biologist working deep inside Venezuela's Grand Savanna region, aimed his camera at something perched on a leaf and captured a photograph that would eventually break the internet. What appeared in the image looked nothing like any moth anyone had ever seen. Its entire body was covered in dense, white, wool-like scales, not fur, not hair, modified structures called setae that gave the creature the unmistakable appearance of a tiny animal wrapped in thick cotton. Its antennae were feathered and wide, its eyes were enormous, black and bulging from its head, its legs appeared fuzzy, almost soft, like the insect had been intentionally designed to look as alien as possible while still existing on Earth. When the photograph reached the wider internet in 2012, the reaction was immediate and massive. Thousands of people called it fake, AI-generated, photoshopped, a digital art project designed to deceive. It was none of those things. Dr. Anker photographed the moth during a legitimate scientific expedition in one of the most biodiverse and least explored regions on the planet. The Grand Savanna sits at the base of Venezuela's tepuis, ancient tabletop mountains that have been geologically isolated for millions of years. These formations are known to harbor species found absolutely nowhere else on Earth. Conditions for producing undiscovered organisms are not theoretical here, they are documented reality. The exact species has never been formally classified. It may belong to the Lasiocambidae family. It may represent something entirely undescribed. No one has confirmed which because no one has found another one. A creature so bizarre the entire internet assumed it was fiction. Photographed once, never fully identified, and still out there somewhere inside a landscape humans have barely begun to catalog.
If you thought this was terrifying, you are not ready for what they found in the video on your screen. Click it right now. The truth is worse than you think.